this meeting to order. City Clerk will provide roll call.
Commissioner Edwards,
Here.
Mayor Hendricks,
Here.
Commissioner Van Oster,
Here.
Vice Mayor Faulkner,
Here.
Commissioner Maples.
Here.
Mr. Kreitz, would you so kindly indulge us to deliver the invocation?
Stand for the prayer. Just don't call me pastor, please. Let's bow our heads. Father, we are thankful for the opportunity to gather here this evening. We're thankful for a warm place to meet. We're thankful for the commission that chooses to give of its time to serve this community, and we're thankful for staff, especially those who are being recognized tonight, hitting milestones. Father, we thank you for them and for all the work that they do. Please guide us and direct us in all of the decisions that are made tonight, and we pray these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I want to bring to something that saddens us all, and that is mentioning and recognizing the passing of our former Director of Public Works, retired Jim Bradshaw. And I'm going to read a statement here that was read or developed and read at his retirement. Mr. Bradshaw had more than 42 years of experience in the water and wastewater utility. He began employment with the City of Coffeyville in July of 1981 in the Water and Wastewater Distribution and Collection Department, progressing to Superintendent of Distribution and Collections in 1986. In 1990, Mr. Bradshaw also assumed the superintendent duties of water and wastewater filtrations and treatment. After the flood of 2007, Mr. Bradshaw was also given the title of Disaster Recovery Coordinator. The added duties at that time was overseeing the reconstruction and demolition of several city-owned buildings that were damaged during the flood. In 2010, Mr. Bradshaw assumed the added duties of the Public Service Department and was given the title of Deputy Director of Public Works. His present duties and responsibilities included planning, budgeting, direction, management, and oversight of activities and operations of the Public Works Department, which included water, wastewater distribution, collection, filtration and treatment, streets and alleys, cemeteries, parks, the golf course, as well as the aquatic center. In 2020, Mr. Bradshaw assumed the duty and title of Director of Public Works, and that's what he had recently retired as. We send our thoughts and prayers to the family during this very difficult time. Now we'll have a review of the agenda. Any additions, corrections from the commissioners?
We do actually have an addition of an executive session. There will be two of the executive sessions, so we do need to vote to amend the agenda to add that.
All right.
Okay.
I'll move to amend the agenda to add an executive session for consultation with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Edwards, to amend the agenda to add an executive session for consultation with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Next up, the consent agenda. First item is the City Commission meeting minutes from the last meeting, Tuesday, January 9th, 2024, and the appropriation. Second is the appropriation ordinance number AO-24-02. Questions, comments from commissioners, or any review of the items?
I'll go ahead and review the appropriations ordinance for this week. We have our Boys and Girls Club 2024 funding award in the amount of $3,400. We have Coffeyville Friends of Animals funding award in the amount of $36,000. Coffeyville Historical Society in the amount of $20,000. Coffeyville Municipal Band in the amount of $7,000. Coffeyville Neighborhood Initiative in the amount of $3,800. Coffeyville Police Department in the amount of $8,000. Then we have Coffeyville Regional Medical Center, the sales distribution for this quarter, $82,407.06. We have the funding award for Fort County Mental Health in the amount of $1,800. Funding award for the 2024 Summer Celebration in the amount of $15,000. We have Grand River Dam Authority in the amount of $3,082,320.35. We have the Kansas Department of Revenue fourth quarter 2023 water fees in the amount of $14,660.89. Kansas Municipal Utilities for membership in the amount of $24,181.25. The KMGA Gas Supply Operating Fund in the amount of $185,184.41. The Midland Theater Foundation 2024 Funding Award in the amount of $20,000. The 2024 Service Agreement for Montgomery County Action Council in the amount of $25,000. The Neal Hotels LLC, that is a CID sales tax, in the amount of $5,210.58. Prairie Land Partners, that was for the John Deere tractor lawnmower, in the amount of $15,325. Republic Services, that's for trash, in the amount of $38,788.01. The Southwest Power Pool in the amount of $29,741.35. Southwest Power Administration in the amount of $10,850.48. Switchgear Power Systems in the amount of $273,020. And then the payroll distribution for this period in the amount of $432,324.62.
Any other comments? Motion?
I'll motion to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Maples to approve items 1 and 2 of the consent agenda as presented. Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye. Next up is the appropriation ordinance, AO-24-02A for Ishams.
Move to approve item 3 of the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I'm sorry, who was the second? Thank you. Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Vice Mayor Faulkner to approve item 3 of the consent agenda as presented. Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Abstain.
Next item, comments from the public. Any citizen desiring to address the commission shall be recognized, advance to the podium, state his or her name and address. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes unless extended by a vote of the majority of the commission. The commission does not hear matters involving litigation or city personnel. The commission does not take action on subjects not on the agenda unless it's unusual or hardship conditions exist. Citizens may address the commission on agenda items as they are brought to the floor. Anyone? Okay. Moving on. We are now into our regular agenda items, and the first thing will be a public hearing and special presentation and proclamation for the 2023 City of Coffeyville Employee Service Awards. City Clerk Melissa Carter will present the service awards.
Mayor and Commissioners, the following employees had milestone anniversaries in 2023. We will start with the employees that are in attendance this evening. I'll ask the director or supervisor to come up and present their award. So we'll start with Code Enforcement, Matt Conger. And Angie Stevens is celebrating her 15-year anniversary.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and second in wastewater collections, Shane George, our director, if you want to go ahead and come on up. And we have Shorty Foreman here in wastewater collections, who's celebrating his 15th year.
City of Coffeyville, I'd like to thank you for your 15 years of service. Been with you for the last 3 years, and hopefully till you retire. Congratulations.
And I believe that's all we have in attendance. So the other ones that couldn't be here tonight, celebrating 10-year anniversaries, Jake Dean from the fire department, Stephanie Randall from the police department, Kurt Taylor with electric distribution, and Eric Eagle in water treatment. 15-year anniversaries, Bobby Tracy with the fire department, Bruce Kane with the electric distribution, Charles Adamson in electric generation, Eric Wilson in electric generation. Celebrating 25 years, we have Jason Hunt in electric distribution. And 30 years, Bruce Bell, who retired, electric distribution. And then Shane Brown is also celebrating his 30-year anniversary in electric distribution. So thank you to all of those employees.
Thank you.
Thank you to all those for their service, dedication, and all they do for the community to keep things going. Next up is the Coffeyville Area Chamber of Commerce Year-End Report 2023. Commerce President Candy Westbrook will make the presentation. Welcome.
Good evening, Commissioners and Mayor Hendricks. And yes, I was double checking to make sure that is on tonight. All right, well, my name again is Candy Westbrook with the Coffeyville Chamber of Commerce, and I thank you for letting me come and talk tonight about our year-end report. So before I get started, actually, let me make sure I know how to do this. Okay. Along with the many hats that we wear every year, we try to focus on a few goals, and this year our goals were focused around community development, collaboration, and leadership. By the way, I'm going to keep this very short tonight because we all want to go home. But if you do have questions or anything you want me to clarify, just let me know. So, before I get into some highlights, I just want to talk a little bit about the numbers. So first of all, we have 253 members this year, which is our highest member that we've had in, well, as far as I can find in some records that are recent. So we're headed in the right direction, and we're very excited about that. Our website continues to be a source of information for the community, hitting thousands of referrals to our businesses. So we had 183,000 referrals last year, which means different people getting on our website, finding a business, looking for a business, calling, connecting, whatever. And of course, we continue to host all kinds of events. We had 25 events that we hosted at the Chamber this year, and then 11 more that we partnered, which means weren't our events, but we volunteered or worked with or collaborated with, like the Interstate Fair and Rodeo and the Dalton Days. So just a couple quick highlights of some things that were new this year. Number one was the launch of our Women in Business series. So we did that this fall just to kind of test the waters to see if that was an interest in the community, and it very much was. And so this year we will be doing multiple seminars, networking events, and a spring conference that'll be for the entire region. So we're excited about that. With our partners at Equity Bank, we kicked off a nonprofit boot camp this year. And it was to give our nonprofits access to training and resources to help them just be more sustainable. So it was great. I wish I could do it every year. It was wonderful. And then I mentioned events a while ago, but one of the things that I was really excited about this year was even with population decline, inflation, multiple challenges over the years, our events have continued to have record attendance. Spooktacular, the Christmas Parade, Hops Around Town Brewfest, just to give you an example of a few of the events. But so we're obviously doing something right here in Coffeyville. People continue to come to the area and get involved and go out. Obviously, one of our focus, as always, as a chamber, is going to be on economic development. This year, we worked on multiple projects, but one of them being the support of a new daycare that's going to be overnight. This will be very valuable for our workforce, especially those industries that have multiple shifts. And so we helped with that a little bit. I know Charlotte did a lot of wonderful work on that project and several volunteers on that board. So hopefully, sometime this year, we'll be able to announce a groundbreaking, and probably I'd like to bring in the daycare and have them talk a little bit about this wonderful project that's going to happen. So that was exciting. We supported our business with several successful Shop Local events, a lot of activities and events just to help increase our tax revenue. And again, they were all successful, hoping to help those businesses continue to grow. We also developed a business startup guide. It's just to help those entrepreneurs and small businesses kind of gain a foot in the right direction as they get going. We also increased and supported more resources on our website and just anything we could do to, like I said, try to encourage those small businesses to get going. This is one of our big roles, but often behind the scenes, but the chamber does serve as kind of the information center for Coffeyville. I call it the front door of the community because everybody tends to want to call the chamber or come in and visit, ask information about a daycare list, meeting spaces, you name it, anything that has to do with getting involved in the community, getting connected, and getting supported. So I know Melissa gets all those calls as well. We trade back and forth a lot. So a lot of calls for the community, but we try to make sure that we are definitely the information center for our community. In addition to that, we host voter registration drives, legislative forums, and anything we can do to help our community be informed about our government, both local and state. And then my favorite is we host a monthly Business Over Breakfast, which provides timely information for both our businesses and our community. So one of my favorites that we really enjoy. The other area is collaboration. This is something that the Chamber's always been involved in, but we really pushed it this year, is trying to make sure there's more partnerships within our community. So one area we partnered with about a year and a half ago was starting to help our Leadership Coffeyville program here in Coffeyville. I'm a true believer that we can't grow our community if we don't grow our leadership. So that was one area that we partnered with and we are now supporting, and I am helping to facilitate. We also partner with the city, thank you very much, and GRDA this year to make improvements on the Perkins building. Very grateful for the support. Still have a lot of work to do. All those downtown businesses are aging. They need a lot of TLC, and we're one of them. So we've identified several areas that definitely need improvements soon, but very grateful for the support from the city and GRDA on the projects last year. And then, of course, supporting community groups. We worked with several of them on beautification projects, cleanup projects, and anything we could do just to kind of help keep our community looking good. Our office also oversees tourism. And this year we tried to branch out in a few areas. One of them was TV advertisement. That is not something we have traditionally done. We're a small community and TV advertisement's costly. But we did branch out this year and do some ads, and it did produce some fruit. We saw some direct hits from people that saw those ads and came to our community. We also, at the end of last year, was awarded a grant from the state of Kansas. It was a 40-60, so they provided 40% of it, and we provide 60 for a large digital campaign that we are launching this month. And the great thing about it is it's a living document, if if I could say a better word, but it changes and flows. And every month, quarter, whatever, however often we want to change it, we'll be able to adapt that digital campaign to focus on the event for that month, the attraction we want to focus on, outdoor amenities, anything and everything that we can to bring people to Coffeyville. So we're very excited. The state of Kansas said we were their poster child to try out, and they're going to see if that works. And they hope to get a lot of communities to do this. Our tourism director has been working with other cities in the county to develop an outdoor recreation brochure. That's one of those areas, obviously we have great outdoor amenities here. Why are we not taking advantage of them? From hunting and fishing to cycling and bike trails and everything else in between. And so I love seeing that partnership between all the communities to work on that. Our tourism also gives out several thousand in grants every year to events or groups in town that are attracting visitors to help them out as well. And then, of course, we hosted several events. So the downtown haunted history tours sold out every single night. We're going to have to figure out a way to add more nights next year. We hosted several bus tours this year, as well as the Model A Club. And we also, our tourism director was able to partner with the mansion this year. They were celebrating 50 years, and so she was able to work with them on several events out at the Brown Mansion that were very successful. I wish we could do those every year, but that's a lot of volunteers and manpower, but they were great events. So hopefully we'll be able to do some in the future. And then last, we had an exhibit that our tourism director worked really hard to bring this fall, and then there was some kind of weird government shutdown. I don't know, but the government said, nope, we're not sending anything out. You're going to have to wait. So it is coming for sure this time, knock on wood, this spring and summer, and it's a NASA exhibit. It'll be at the Air Museum. We already have 5 bus tours coming in for it. Several schools are very excited. A lot of events and activities going on centered around that NASA exhibit. So excited to see that, as well as some other exhibits we're working on. So that was just a really brief recap of some of the things we did this year. Again, so much to include. I didn't want to keep you here all night. But we are going to go into a little bit more detail on Friday. I know several of you are coming to our annual dinner, and I thank you. So this Friday is the Chamber's annual dinner. We have a special guest speaker, Mark Mayfield. Some people know him. He's from the region, but he's now world-renowned, and we're excited he's back. We have lots of great awards we're giving out and a lot of fun. We just had some cancellations today, so we have tickets. It was sold out. We have 325 coming to the dinner, so I'm very excited about that. But listening at home, last chance. We do have a few tickets that opened back up. But before I wrap up, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about a look ahead. We have been working on a 3-year strategic plan focusing on 5 areas that we think will help grow Coffeyville. Some of these we worked on this year because, as you know, it's not a one and done. A lot of these great things have to happen every year, continuous and consistent. But the 5 areas that we are focusing on, first of all, is improving our community image regionally, across the state, other states, but even more importantly, locally. We know that we have to start locally and improve the image within and then branch out. Developing and encouraging a stronger, impactful collaborations, because we know that we have to work together to make progress on the big challenges. Strengthening and diversifying our tourism promotion and opportunities. Developing programs, projects, and collaborations that focus on economic and workforce development. And then again, as we have in the past, intentionally focusing on leadership development in the community to ensure continued growth in Coffeyville. And as I said in the last line, just a little quote, but I'm a firm believer that we all have to start working together. We've got great groups that work together now, but we definitely all want to row in the same boat. And if we want to make that wonderful concert, that symphony, we have to have all the orchestra together. And so that's one of our definitely big things this year we want to work on, is just bringing all those groups together. So, it was quick and fast and short, but any questions on any of that?
Just for those that are listening, can you tell us a little bit about your board, how many you have on there, and when you meet, and
Yeah,
if you have
yes.
committees, just so people kind of get an idea. of what
Absolutely. We have 15 members on our board. We try to have a diversity of small business, large business, nonprofits, corporations, you name it, all on the board. We have ex officio as well, so we have State Representative Ron Bryce on our board, the school board, our city manager, all on the board. And we meet each month, once a month, but then within those timeframes, we have little task force. So those 5 areas of strategic planning that I talked about, our board is dividing those up and going to be working on specific tasks to try to grow and make those a little bit more tangible, so.
Okay, great. Just ask, because I think sometimes people, until they see events you put on,
Yeah.
they don't understand what all that you are doing.
Absolutely. It's, until I started the chamber, I didn't know what the chamber did. I thought they were the one that put on the parade, We're known for parades. That's what chambers do, right? But yeah, it's everything from economic development to information to events to everything in between. And we have a lot of fun with it, but we wear many hats and we love that.
Hey, Candy, are the women in business, are those, do those have to be Coffeyville businesses, or can they be other?
Women.
Okay.
Any woman that's in a leadership or a business position. So the goal, when we first kicked it off, was just to see what the water was, and we had a lot of great interest. So this year, we're hoping to do about every other month. We'll either have a networking event, a seminar, we'll bring speakers in, and then the conference, we're going to try to advertise to the whole region and bring as many people together for that. So,
Thank you.
Wonderful. That's great.
any other questions?
Question, you mentioned what you had done in the past on the tourism. What are your list of events for 2024?
So the digital campaign is going to be the huge thing, because that's, like I said, that's going to be ongoing all the time. We're looking at another exhibit we're trying to bring in. We also are, this is again back to those partnerships and collaborations. So Chamber, Tourism, and the Leadership Coffeyville graduation class of 2023 are working on wayfinding signs this coming year. So, we've got, we didn't realize how many we have, probably like 30 or 40 different signs around town, but most of the time you don't even see them. You don't even know we have them. So we're looking at a few each year. They're going to be those large, nice looking wayfinding signs that says aquatic park this way, museum this way. So that's a partnership, and that's something that we're working on with tourism.
Nice.
And then there was something else that we were working on, but just, yeah, those are kind of a few of the areas, so.
That's great.
You mentioned collaboration. One of the things that came up prior to the election, I had the opportunity to visit with different boards and groups around town, and the common thread that ran throughout all of those discussions was we need to start talking to each other again, and you've hit on that. And that entails collaboration, so I just encourage you to reach out
Yeah.
to the various organizations, the MAC, the Small Business Development Center, the Entrepreneurship Program, the city. As you said, we're all in this together.
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
thank
not
you.
just locally, I think regionally as well. I mean, obviously, we're going to protect our interest here in Coffeyville the most, but I also think there's some ways that we can combine with other cities and groups just to continue to grow the area, so.
Yeah, and that conversation collaboration will do two things. It will prevent overlap of effort, and it will also prevent different organizations working at cross purpose. So thank you for that report.
Absolutely.
Candy, thank you and all your volunteers for your hard work. It
Yeah.
really helps the community.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. All right, on to old business. We'll have the second reading of the employee residency requirements, ordinance G-24-01, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 3, Division 1, Section 2-50 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Coffeyville, Kansas, and replace any conflicting ordinances or parts thereof.
Move to approve the second reading of ordinance G-24-01 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Mayor Hendricks, to approve the second reading of ordinance G-24-01 as presented. Vice Mayor Faulkner,
Aye.
Commissioner Maples,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks,
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Moving on to new business. First item, discussion and action to make an appointment to the Coffeyville Recreation Commission. City Clerk Melissa Carter will make comments, and we have applicants Mike O'Connor and Meredith Smith here.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Coffeyville Recreation Commission has one position available for a term starting March 10th, 2024 through March 10th, 2028. Notice of the opening was placed on the city's website, Facebook page, and Channel 13. I received 2 applications for the Recreation Commission, one from Mike O'Connor and one from Meredith Smith. They are both in attendance, and I'm sure would be happy to answer questions from the commission.
Would either of you two like to come up to the podium and make comments?
Wasn't sure the protocol there, if I came up or if you called me. So, saw there was an opening for the Recreation Board. I've served on other boards with the Rec, the Capital Improvements Board, which helped oversee the construction, and met with the director over, different things we were looking at for the Sherwin-Williams Park. I've been a resident of Coffeyville for just about all my life, with the exception of about 9 months I spent in Lawrence, Kansas when I was a baby. Other than that, I've lived here, I've worked here, my kids are involved in the Rec. Other than working for the city of Coffeyville for almost 17 years, I've coached football for the high school for 12, I've umpired for the Rec, so I've been a part of it, I guess in about every aspect that you could need, and just want to try to do my part to serve and help out where I can. So be happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
I think one thing that a lot of our neighbors here in town have expressed to me anyway is their unhappiness with how much the mill levy rate continues to go up year after year. If you're appointed, would you be willing to pledge tonight to hold the mill levy even and not increase people's taxes?
I mean, that's the last thing. I mean, I live in the city limits of Coffeyville, so I pay the taxes too, like everybody else. So I think that's something that, we would do our absolute best to try to keep it where it's at. And
Okay.
anything
No
else?
more questions. Any other questions, Mr. O'Connor?
I just wanted to say too, while I'm here, I'm not going to bring up anything or anything crazy. I just wanted to say that with all the spotlight that we had over the last 6 months, that kind of to jump on with what Candy said, we've met with City Manager Tim Wilson a couple times at the fire department, and just want to say that it's like a breath of fresh air. We're just happy to move on and help you guys however we can, and what's good for us is good for the community. And I just wanted to touch on that while I had the podium, and just say that we're happy to move forward and do whatever we can to help out where we can. So anyway, thank you.
And
All right,
we
thank
are
you.
we are grateful that we don't have to get out in freezing and driving rain to fight fires like you did recently.
They were no fun. Let's just say the one we had yesterday was it's like a heat wave when it was 40 degrees. So we'll take those when we get them. So thank you.
Thank
Mike.
you.
And Meredith Smith.
Good evening. My name is Meredith Smith. I also didn't understand the protocol, so I apologize for that as well. I did see this. Jana Kassler is one of the most influential people in this town. I think she should have run for mayor, no offense. But she is very good at supplying Coffeyville Community College with all the events. And she was like, look, it's a great opportunity. Maybe you should put an application in. I am completely opposite of what he just said. I've lived here for a whopping 14 months. I'm originally from Knoxville, Tennessee, and spent most of my time in Kansas City before moving down here. I am currently the softball coach at the college, and over the course of my past year and a half, I have become involved in a lot of activities in Coffeyville, actually working with Candy on a couple of different things. And I think the board opening was something that I have experienced from a different perspective than maybe the other applicant. We came from Kansas City, we being my husband and I, with a business for softball and baseball. We also have 2 small children that just got started into recreation. So the one of them had been in 1 year in Kansas City, and the rest, my youngest son just started here in Coffeyville this year. The recreation, I've actually worked with David a little bit. Obviously, we have a connection with the park over here. I was devastated what you opened the meeting with. Jim Bradshaw was one of the very first people that I met when I came to Coffeyville. Wonderful human being. And I've just got to know like different areas and different people. This is a very small community, and I cannot tell you how many names I've learned in the past 13, 14 months, which I love. It's actually one of my favorite things that I've come to love about this. But in that being said, being an outsider, a lot of people give you a lot of information. Like, well, what was it like here? Asking me questions. I can particularly say in the baseball, softball world, I get a lot of kids coming in, and we're getting kids for lessons in that baseball, softball area. A lot of these kids are going to Tulsa. I know for a fact my 8-year-old has already been asked to go to Bartlesville to play soccer. And recreation is very dear to my heart. Like, I want this is really important. So for the community at large. Then we have a lot of parents coming in talking about, adult sports, and, I'm just trying to gather information. And I think that really where I can make the difference is I saw some really good things in the recreation world over the past year. And like I said, my experience is limited. I really loved going in to watch my daughter play volleyball, and the volleyball team at Coffeyville being the officials and being those role models for those kids. So I think a partnership, a tie between the college, I think this is two-handed. I think they can be a great advocate for sport in our community, but I think that college needs to do more as well. And I don't think we call on that college to do the types of things that would bring that college up to a good level. I'm big on community service. You can ask Candy. She actually told me to get out of her office one time and that I need to learn how to say no. I want part of my being and being a collegiate coach is the fact that athletes are meant to give service, and that's a big part of who I am. So I thought, well, if I'm telling my kids this, I have to go out and I have to, at least apply for the position, or at any rate, if I would not be on the board, I would work with Candy in those efforts. I was also the designer of the trunk or treat that booted up against Spooktacular that we held on the campus. I'm the one that designed that last year. It was just like, come in, throw, you're new, here, go. The other thing that kind of drives me towards recreation is being in Kansas City, obviously Kansas City Recreation Board, there's not just one. I mean, you've got massive quantities of recreation. But through being softball in a Division I institution in Kansas City, it was the highest level of softball you could get in Kansas City. Obviously, we have the Royals, but then you have the highest is Division I softball. So all of my partnerships that I created, we played at boys and girls clubs, and we didn't have a field. A Division I know you all never believe me, we didn't have a field of our own. We actually played a full season of Division I without having our own field. We partnered with Boys and Girls Club, RBI baseball and softball. And then I was lucky enough when the Royals won their national championship that I partnered with the Royals. We had a lot of contacts and connections because they helped me out with my field. That beautiful field that you have out there at Byers Park that you get to see when you drive to Walmart, the Royals came down and did that for me. And that is just luck of the draw. Wonderful people, but I got to be a part of Urban Youth Academy, which was built in Kansas City for underdeveloped population in sport and access, and that's where all of this comes from, this want to be involved in that stuff. And I will be the first person to tell you that just because it's available doesn't mean it happens. I spent many a night working through RBI baseball and softball for free clinics, and no one ever showed up. So I've got that. I've been able to teach. I got thrown into sociology, which I'm extremely grateful for here at Coffeyville. And I mean, my background is in education as well, but I think that we are missing a connection for all of this. So I think just in viewing, I think I can be an asset for the tie between Coffeyville Community College, the recreation department in Coffeyville as a sports positioning. I myself had a business in that recreation. We have wanted to bring 24 softball teams here in the summer. That's not just a sport thing. That's a commission thing. That's a restaurant thing. And so I think these opportunities are available here. I think it's just a matter of the connection. And then just being a resource. I'm a teacher. I'm a sports psychologist. I feel like as far as anything I could do in recreation of all sports would be really good. I coordinated with the recreation. I work with the women down there in David on multiple different occasions. As far as we had a homecoming. Let's bring the winners of flag football out and put them on the field and say, hey, here's our recreation. They won homecoming. Those are the things that I think that we are missing out on, just kind of driving through to the community. And then, like I said, I've been approached by many adults that are just missing recreation in general, and that was one of the reasons that I said, okay, I'll come up here. I've had people approach me about having cornhole tournaments in the indoor. I know that horseshoes was really big around here at one point. So just that adult sport, I miss it. I miss playing sport myself, and just in general, because I miss getting to know other people. And I think sport is a really great, recreation is a great way to do that. And I'm still trying to find my group of friends that are outside of the people I work with. No offense to the people I work with, but see them, like 80 hours a week. So just meeting those type of people. And Coffeyville is a wonderful place to do that. So thanks.
I'd have the same question for you I had for Mike, which was, if you were appointed, would you be willing to hold the mill levy rate of the rec commission?
I want you to have no more of my money. Absolutely not. I do not have any interest in that. For me, it would be about bringing money into the community. I have been told that this is a mecca of transportation, just with the highways that come through here and the tie between Oklahoma and Kansas. And I think it gives us a good opportunity, I know, as far as bringing in sports, recreations, groups, like Candy does with the commission as well. So,
How long do you think you'll be in Coffeyville?
The reason that I moved here, I get asked this every day in recruitment. The reason that I moved here is because I had the small family, and I don't know how much you all follow sports and all. Division I broke my heart. I won't lie. The portal and everything. I coached at a mid-major school where I was becoming a farm system, and I'm a really passionate family type of person. And I would recruit kids for 6 years, and then they get there, and I'd make them good for a year, and then OSU, they play great against OSU, and they're out the door in the portal. I think the portal is the devil. And then, so from that feeling, my husband grew up and played junior college ball. And he's like, why don't you do this, this, and this? And the reason that I am in Coffeyville is for that reason, because one, I talked to Marlon, and I love Marlon. And he promised me certain things, and he has fulfilled every promise that he gave me.
Will.
And he's wonderful, and I've met a lot of wonderful people. I miss Quick Trip and I miss Chipotle. But other than that, that's pretty much where I'm at. And I do find it rather freakish in this town that everyone knows where I live. If I told you I had 2 big Great Danes, do you know where I live? And I would be shocked if one of you does not know where I live. So
Small town.
So yeah. Other than that, that's been my only negative. Like I said, it's wonderful. Like there's so many positives to being here, but there are things that I sit at home at night and I think could be better. I think I've finally reached that point in my life. I've always been. I'm not really. I hate public speaking, if you can believe that. But I don't. I think I sit at home and complain about things, and then I tell my husband, well, if you want something different, go fix it. And this is kind of that opportunity. I don't think that if I don't try or I don't create the relationships with Candy and those people, that I can't make things better. So.
Any comments?
No,
from commissioners? I will
Very
say,
good.
yeah, you have a wonderful background in this area. And Mike, you have so much history and time working with kids and coaching at the rec commission. And for me, this is just a really, really hard choice.
Oh, I totally understand. And I will tell you, the experience and the people that live in this town is amazing. Like, the people that I've met that have lived here for a certain amount of time have been irreplaceable in my eyes. So I think, if anything, there would be no hard feelings, and I would be more than happy to help in any way, form, if it's not a board commission situation. It's just something that I think that we can do a better job, whether it's a liaison between us and the college or whatever it might be. I'll be totally on board to do that. So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have another term, right, that is ending from the city appointment next year at this time. At least that's what it says in the notes, right? March of 2025.
Yes.
And then the other three are two appointed by the school and one appointed by the
By the
rec.
commission, yes.
And there is one that is expiring at the same time this year in March of 9th appointed by the school, correct?
District, yes.
Okay.
Well, if there's no other discussion, I am going to move to appoint Meredith Smith as our city recreation board member.
I'll second that.
Motion is made by Commissioner Maples, seconded by Vice Mayor Faulkner, to appoint Meredith Smith to the Coffeyville Recreation Commission for a term expiring March 10th, 2028. Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
And Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Congratulations. Thank you.
And
Congratulations.
Mike,
Both of you.
Mike, we expect to see you back here.
This is on here twice.
It's on there twice because there were two nominees in case there
Oh,
were
okay.
two.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next item, discussion and action to make an appointment to the Planning Commission. City Clerk Melissa Carter will make comments.
The 7-member Planning Commission has one position available for an unfinished term expiring January 1st, 2025. Notice of the opening was placed on the city's website, Facebook page, and Channel 13. I received one application from Pam Jones. This was actually her term that she resigned from in August of 2023 when she served on the City Commission. Pam could not be in attendance tonight. She's just a reapplication. This will leave 2 terms on the Planning Commission, but these are both for residents that live outside but within 3 miles of the city limits. So this will fulfill all of our inside city limits positions if she's appointed, and then we just have those 2 that are outside but within 3 miles.
Move to appoint Pam Jones to the Planning Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2025.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Vice Mayor Faulkner, to appoint Pam Jones to the Planning Commission for a term expiring January 1st, 2025. Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
All right, last item, Resolution R-24-02, a resolution to approve cancellation of up to $2,500 in utility bills incurred by the Warming Center at 501 East 9th in Coffeyville, Kansas during the period beginning January 1st, 2024 through March 31st, 2024, and October 1st, 2024 through December 31st of 2024. City Clerk Melissa Carter.
Mayor and Commissioners, the Warming Center at 501 East 9th in Coffeyville opened in November of 2023. Touch of Life Ministries turned the old Lowell Elementary School into a place where people can stay if they don't have a warm place to go when temperatures drop to freezing or below. Currently, they have 10 beds, but have made room for more when there is need. They serve breakfast, lunch, dinner, provide snacks, drinks, and toiletries. During this last period of dangerously low temperatures and winter weather that Coffeyville received, the warming center was open. Through donations and volunteers, they were able to stay open 24 hours the majority of those days. During this period, they had anywhere from 3 to 12 people staying at the center at a time. The warming center is operated solely on donations and run by volunteers. This center provides an invaluable service to the Coffeyville community and is the only service of this type in the city limits. Therefore, I am asking that the commission approve the resolution for the cancellation of up to $2,500 in utility bills for the time periods that you suggested. And then also to Alicia Melton with Touch of Life Ministries, who has kind of spearheaded this project, is here. So if you have any questions or any information about the warming center, I'm sure she'd be happy to answer those.
Hello.
Hi.
Questions from you guys?
Good evening.
Wow.
Just curious, can you kind of tell us how your attendance has been, especially
goodness.
during those?
Oh, this
French.
during this like this past week,
Yes.
up until literally yesterday.
Right.
We had like let me think, 1, 2, 3, 6 that were there 24/7.
Okay.
We had at one point we had 14 people in the building overnight, kind of in and out. And like Melissa said, we only have 10 beds right now. So we were turning, the Lowell School also used to be a church, so it has a full sanctuary. So we're like, all right, we have pews that are padded, that will work. So we've had the most, we've had 14 at one time. That's, I mean,
Okay.
really, that's about it.
And I know you man it 24/7.
Yes.
And there's there, you require, I read, 9 p.m. is when everybody needs to be in. Is that
Yes, they
correct?
have to be in by 9 p.m. The doors are locked.
Okay.
The people that are there visiting are told, you know, if you decide that you need to go outside for any reason, you will not be able to get back in after 9 p.m. For a couple of reasons. One, my husband and I both work full-time. So we are up at 5:30 in the morning because I go to Caney, he goes to Indy. So we have to get up and out. So we need our rest, and it prevents us from getting people that are just like, oh, I'm going to go party until 4 a.m. and then I'll go find somewhere to sleep and having to deal with that. So that's kind of the 9 p.m. deadline
And I
rule.
think that's a very responsible way to
Yeah.
run that. And then I know from what I've gathered and seen, and that I know donations from the people have also helped you quite tremendously.
Oh my gosh, we have been so blessed. Not just Coffeyville. I mean, Coffeyville's been fantastic, but the entire region has stepped up. Mound Valley, South Coffeyville, Elk City, Parsons, Cherryville, Caney, all of these communities are calling and people checking in every single day. Hey, do you need anything? Are you running low on anything? What can we do to help? And we have yet to have to, like, out of our own pockets, because like Melissa said, we are 100% donation based. We have not had to buy groceries. We have not had to buy toiletries. We've had plenty of bedding. We've got plenty of stocking caps and gloves and all coats and all of those things that these people need in this weather. And it's been so humbling to see the response of the community for coming in and helping, and even those coming in to volunteer. We've had different churches from areas. Hey, we'll take dinner tonight. We'll come in and cook for you guys. I mean, it's been just humbling, for lack of a better word.
And that's great. And
Yes.
kudos to the team here at the city that is allowing or presenting this for us to consider, because I think this is just one way that the city can help.
Yeah, this
And,
Right.
and it's a perfect way to help, that we can help.
yeah, it's
and
Melissa's
assist.
idea, and I think it's a great idea. So
Yeah.
anytime
So-
we can do something like that, I
Thank
think
you
it's plus.
for, because this fits
Yes.
perfect what we can do for you.
And just, I mean, and it's not just for me, one little piece. Just because people are coming into the shelter, we're not just like, here's a meal, here's a bed, see you later. Our goal and mission, vision of our ministry is providing a hand up to self-sufficiency, not a hand out to dependency. So when they walk in our doors, we're gathering information from them. Okay, maybe they have a house. Why is it that you don't have heat? What needs to be done? And we're helping them find a pathway and connecting them with the resources so that, like those that have been there with us all that week through the cold, a couple of them were absolutely homeless, had nowhere to go. One gentleman was trying to get all the way to the other side of Oklahoma on foot. We were able to get funds brought in to get him on a bus and transport him to his destination so he didn't freeze. We had another family that came in. They will be moving into an apartment this week with support. They are on disability, so they have the income. They just couldn't get connected with the people to get what they needed. Another gentleman, very young kid who had made some bad choices. Mama had enough. I'm a mama, I get it. And I had some tough love moments with him and explained to him, look, you made the bad choices, but it's not over. So we got him connected with Kansas Works. We've got him connected with the LINK program. He is going to be finishing his high school diploma and enrolling in welding school next week.
Great.
So it's not just a shelter for the night. That is not our objective. The objective is the bigger picture.
Continued support.
Yes.
And just so that the public knows, pretty well all areas of this have been covered. It's even in the resolution that during that time, those months, during the first of the year and the end of the year, that if you're using the center for something else, that's brought up and it's prorated accordingly. So everything has been thought out very well. So thank you, city staff, for doing that. And thank you, Alicia, for you, your husband, and others that have brought this to Coffeyville, because it's been talked about a long time. And this is wonderful, and you should be very, very proud of yourselves.
We're humble and all the glory goes to God, every bit of it. We couldn't do it without him.
What is your capacity? What is your capacity? What is your vision for your capacity?
Oh my gosh. Big vision.
In that building, what
in
can
that
you
building,
realistically do?
So realistically, and our big vision long term is, number one, we need a new roof. Like yesterday, we need a new roof. When we get good rain, we have to put buckets out because it's the old tar roof and it's in bad shape, and we do what we can and catch the water. And we're looking for bids for that, as well as trying to get funding for that. Once the roof is done, we will begin the work on the upper 2 floors of that building, turning those into smaller, like dorm type rooms. And that will eventually lead to an 18-month live-in facility program, modeled after like the Teen Challenge or the Adult Challenge program.
Very familiar with that.
Yeah, modeled after that.
That's awesome.
And so all through curriculum founded on Christ, and also incorporating the skills of, this is how you manage your money. Okay, you got paid. What do we need to do first? Building those skills, helping them learn to write the resumes, do the interview skills, helping them, stand on their own 2 feet within that 18-month period. And that covers everything from, how to do their own laundry, how to plan their grocery shopping instead of eating at McDonald's every night. I mean, all of those things that we take for granted that creates the cycle of poverty.
Very
important,
Very
basic
important.
life skills.
Yes.
That's
So many just don't know that.
Right.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I do have a couple of questions for city staff. This amount, $2,500, Is that what was asked for, or is there some kind of
No, to make it
ordinance or statute limitation?
No, to make it clear, Touch of Life Ministries did not ask for this at all. I had reached out to Alicia, just letting her know I was going to post information on the city Facebook page about the warming center, and just making sure I had my information correct, and then kind of got it from there. So to be clear, Touch of Life Ministries did not ask for this. The 2,500, basically what we did, we went back and did like a 12-month average on the bill. It was around $230 a month. We know that that's going to be, a little bit different and everything. So we just kind of came up with that cap that we thought would encapsulate the times that they will be utilizing that center.
That was my next question. Is 2,500 enough?
It should be. If for some reason, we get to the end of the year, I mean, I doubt there would be an issue of bringing a resolution back if we wanted to make that
Okay.
more. We never know what the weather is going to do. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to bringing that back if those funds are running low and, we need to give more.
All right, thank you.
So- You answered a lot of my questions in
Yes.
your talking narrative, but I did have a question when we talk utilities. I'm assuming the building is heated with gas.
Correct.
Have you reached out to Atmos?
I have not yet. We have, like Melissa said, we don't ask just because
I get it.
we just don't.
We appreciate it.
That's very appreciated.
So,
And then next question is, you talked about people donating supplies and water, bringing food.
right.
I know from past experience and working a little bit in this area is, you have immediate needs, or do you have any difficulties right now? And someone might be just basic building maintenance.
Building maintenance, basic, I mean, we are looking and would like to have on-site a washer and dryer so we can wash all of the bedding and stuff on-site instead of loading it in my car and taking it home and cleaning it and bringing it back. That would be fantastic, as well as our guests would be able to utilize that while they're there. Another improvement we would like to make would be showers, one in each the men's and women's restroom, because we don't have showers on site yet. We haven't put that as a priority because our number one is getting the roof fixed. And we can figure out ways. We can call the Holly House and in dire needs and meet someone there to shower if we need to. It just makes it really difficult if they're not available. Other things, like commercial mops and dust brooms, vacuum cleaners, those kinds of things. We have some, but they're old and they're falling apart. And we do what we can with what we've got. I've got a regular household vacuum cleaner, trying to do the whole big sanctuary. It takes a minute. But we do it. So, and I think, we need an electric hot water heater. We are currently boiling water to wash dishes. Because the gas one that came with the building is completely toast. And so we're looking at either an Instahot for the kitchen area, or if we could get a 40-gallon hot water tank to use the whole building, that would be ideal.
Have you got a bid yet on the roof?
My husband and I are working with a contractor who has a roofing company, and we had to wait on the size to pass. So hopefully this weekend we'll have that.
Okay.
Well, I hope this information is getting out to the audience here and the audience watching tonight, because this is a very worthwhile cause, because you're performing a very much needed service, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
So I am going to very happily move to approve Resolution R-24-02 as presented.
Second.
Motion is made by Commissioner Van Oster, seconded by Commissioner Maples to approve Resolution R-24-02 as presented. Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you do.
Next item is a discussion on mandatory trash service contracts. Director of Public Works, Thomas Osborne.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. As you are all aware, the City of Coffeyville has a required residential trash service that we have contracted out. Currently, our current contract is with Republic Services. The last, I want to say, 2 times that we went out to bid, we requested bids for 3-year contracts to try to put together trash service bids year after year. It's a lot for them to be able to go through and put together. One of the big things that we've been hearing back from those, especially on the last one, it was a rather short time period, but longer contracts is because if somebody's going to gear up for, taking on a whole new city, they're adding trucks, they're adding people. 3 years doesn't necessarily make it for when you're buying $100,000 trucks or plus to try to fill out those services. The current contract we do have through, I believe it's March of 25, so we're trying to get started early and get these out there. But we're ready, pretty much. We have the numbers ready to go out and start getting those bids and soliciting those companies to see what kind of they can offer for us with several different options that we're putting out. And we're basing it off on the last few that we went out for. But the big thing that we're asking is, what are your thoughts about extending out that contract date instead of the 3-year term, going to, I believe, 10 years was kind of the short that they're looking for. Again, when you're trying to pull in somebody new, potentially get better bids. If you've got a 10-year contract, they're going to be a little more sharpen their pencil on it. So,
Yeah, Thomas, will we get lower prices at longer terms?
I think we should.
Typically you would.
Because again, it's the longer term, and like I said, they're the current company that we've had for the last, I want to say 2, if not 3 contracts. They're constantly going up, of course. They're geared up for us.
Yeah, 3 to 10 is long. I mean, is 5 a compromise, or do you know?
Even 6.
It's whatever you guys would like to go forward. I know that they were specifically asking for 10. I think there was Waste Management last year?
Waste Connection has actually come in a couple of times, and they're very interested in bidding, but the 3 years, they just cannot recoup their expenses.
I
to
could see
bid
how
in.
3 years would be too short.
Yeah.
I do have a very big topic to talk about on trash when it comes to this trash service contract. And this is something I think we should discuss at least for a little while before we put out the bids and requirements. And I know you said you're basing it on the past, and I had these strong feelings 10, 12 years ago, is that I am convinced that these very large trash trucks are tearing up the residential streets. I see it all over town. They're too big, they're too heavy, they're heaving up curbs. I see the large, foot deep dimples.
Yep.
And I see this, and we had this debate 15 years ago, and what would happen is, and what it was is low cost. We wanted low cost on the trash contract, and if you go to smaller trucks that are lighter, and I'm talking, I think these large trash trucks we're running now are up to 55,000 pounds in that range, and if we could even find something that was maximum 35,000 pounds, it's better for our residential streets. Were not made for these big, heavy trash trucks. I fully realize the trash company will come back and say and complain they have to make more trips to the landfill, or it takes more time, or they have to run more people. But it's either, pay $100,000 less on the trash contract and have our streets damaged to an unknown amount that I'm guessing is $300,000 to $400,000 a year of damage. We're spending to fix it all over town. So it's either pay here or pay there. And I would really like to see what it would be like with smaller, lighter trash trucks. But back how they used to have in the old days.
The way we had the bid, this current setup, which we can have more discussion, change it however we want. The current setup has 4 options for trash pickup. And those are based off of size of truck, in dumps, size of crews, So I think there's 4 options. I don't remember those right off the top of my head. But those are options that were looked at in the past to try to reduce that. We do have maps for a lot of dead-end streets that at one point we were trying to shoot for. This would be end-up only. I thought some of those were put in place, but that's not being done, at least at this point. They're using the same larger trucks for those cul-de-sacs and stuff as well. So all of those are kind of built into that currently. I'd be happy to provide a copy of the current specs, and of course we can have more discussion on as we go forward. But I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, that way we can get a jump on it and not wait till the last minute trying to put something out.
So Thomas, what's the deadline for RFPs? Because you're saying it's April of this year?
It'll be, no, next year. So we have time. The last
I'm
one
glad
we
you're bringing
did in
this up now.
January, which was
But listen,
really
that
short,
would
so-
be, we ought to write the specs up,
Yeah.
get something
Yeah.
out.
This is something I really wanted to talk about.
We had talked about that the last time, if you
Yeah.
will
Yeah,
remember.
last year.
When we renewed, we
Yeah.
said we need to do it earlier.
That's correct,
So
yeah.
that we can get a handle on it.
So that's
Right.
one of the
Exactly.
things
That's
we want to
something
get
we're
that
all
started.
been
Yeah.
aware of, and I
And grateful
think-
that you're bringing it up now. We
And,
appreciate
you
that.
know, we could find out, like you said, maybe 6 years as opposed to 10.
Yeah.
What the difference would be.
Do those
10's a long
typically have, say, the 3-year or 6-year, whichever we would do, and I don't know what it is now, but do those have built-in percent increases every year, or is
This
that?
last
Yeah.
one-
This
yeah,
last
the
one
time
did,
we
yes.
It did, but the one before was a steady rate the whole 3 years?
The one
was
before, we brought it
variable,
to the
but, yeah,
commission
each year. We just didn't do
for
it.
the increase. Last
just
year, they
wasn't
just
bid.
built it in.
Yeah, and I would prefer it built in.
Yeah,
I
just
think
build
that
it
makes
in
way more
now and
sense.
rather than bring it up every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would say I feel pretty strongly about trying to find lighter trucks,
Yeah.
like they used to
Now,
have.
do
in
they
the
have,
old
like,
days.
I mean, do they have, obviously they have that option as
Yeah,
lay
they
them
do.
out.
They have
Okay.
that option. And so especially some, like I know Waste Connections out of Bartlesville does some commercial. So the city of Coffeyville doesn't do a mandatory, this is who your trash service is for commercial buildings and apartment complexes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. They have to
And
get their own.
I
I know
have-
Waste
Get our own.
Connections has a
And-
smaller truck that they use quite often in the city.
I've got
So they do have
an issue
those
that goes
options.
hand in glove with this, not not for discussion regarding the contract, but for future discussion. And I'll just summarize it by saying there's absolutely no reason why after the truck comes by and that big poly cart is emptied into the truck, there is absolutely no reason why that needs to sit on the curb permanently for another week with trash blowing all over the neighborhood. We've got to figure out a way to get those, have people get those poly carts back off the curbs.
I know it is in our code of ordinance that they are supposed to be
It
pulled
is.
back.
It is.
I don't know, we can look into it exactly what we can do as far as, if we start issuing a
Oh,
fine or something.
There
like that.
are issues,
So-
elderly, disabled,
And so there's actually.
and there's
little over-
provisions for that.
Yeah, there's a little over 200 and, I think it was 240 currently that are listed for their, disabled, and where they actually will go to the pickup and return it back, so.
Right.
That is listed in the request for proposal.
But just to leave
Yeah.
it sitting out permanently on the curb,
Yeah, that one will have to be.
someone, a friend of mine called it, wasn't Coffeyville, it was Polyville. So
Yeah,
we need to
can
address
definitely look into
that.
that and what that was gonna take. Like I said, we have some stuff on the books, I just don't know what kind of teeth they have.
Yeah.
Whether it's one of those that it's on the books, but there's no teeth to it. If we need to add teeth to it, we can certainly do that.
And I know there was even a discussion brought up to me about people thinking or considering, can they go back to the alleys? But I don't know the pros and cons of that. In the areas that can be done, but there's pros and cons, I
There's
realize.
places in town where there are no alleys. A lot of our alleys are severely overgrown, so you're gonna have to fight getting that back to where you can do alleys. A lot of alley crossings you have your low, fiber and data cables are kind of low, so your trucks are, where they could potentially catch on those. So you got a lot of those types of things that would need to be addressed, but it's a possibility. It's just as far as what's it gonna take to be able to get them for those areas. And it's could be quite a bit of expense on our side as far as fixing the alleys up too, because some of our alleys are actually probably worse than our streets, so
You're right.
there'd be a lot to do there.
Okay.
All right, any other comments, questions?
Thank
Like I
you,
said,
Thomas.
we can definitely, I will put together what we have already and get that out to you guys, for you guys to review, and we can, of course, have another discussion moving forward, or if we need to set up a work session to drill down into the actual bid documents on how we want it, we can certainly set that up. So,
Okay.
just to,
Thank
kind
you.
of said, once I get that to you, just kind of let me know, let Tim know, and we can set those meetings up for you. So.
All right.
Thomas.
All right,
Thank
thank you, Thomas.
Next item is motion to adjourn to executive session.
No.
No, not
it's
yet.
not.
It's not.
No, We've got to hear the city manager.
City manager and
Oh,
comments.
That's a waste of time, isn't it, Alex?
No,
So,
not at all.
well, just kind of an update. We filled some more key positions, still have some open, but got multiple interviews with other key positions in the next few weeks. So we're making good progress there. Started the process for the city manager search. We put the final flyer, if you will, to the SGR, and we should be finalizing that in the next week. So we'll have an ad out before long. Yeah, thank you. City employees, boy, I can't tell you how great they did over the past 2 weeks. It's incredible to me. You know, I was sitting at home in a nice warm home and getting calls about multiple fires. I think there were 4 fires in the past 2 weeks. And, you know, it wasn't just that the fire department went out and did their job, that the police department was out there throwing salt down so the fire department could get traction. And, I mean, the city really came together. We had the water works guys out there. I think we had 20 water breaks and we're caught up. So, you know, they're just, unbelievable job considering what we just went through. I mean, that was a major, I've lived, you know, I grew up in Coffeyville, so that was a huge weather event. So, you know, we came through, man, the employees were unbelievable. I mean, just unreal. No complaints. They were there every day. Couldn't be more proud of the job they did. Still, you know, lots of opportunities for the city to improve, and we're working on those every day.
Great. Thank you, Tim.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up, comments from commissioners and staff.
I just want to echo Tim's remarks about the city employees, fire department, police department, electric department, water department, public service, everybody on what they've done. And another one, Melissa, for keeping the public informed in your Facebook posts about what's going on. And because unless you get out and drive around, you do not know. And so many people can see what our good people are doing. And I think that's in relationship to when earlier you gave the service awards. That chimes in with the expertise that we have and the dedication of those that will get out there during this time. Because I'm sure we are not done yet with winter.
Yeah. Well, and one last comment. Jim Bradshaw's son, Jimmy Bradshaw, works for the fire department.
Yes.
And he was on bereavement leave, but they had a fire and he showed up at the fire. So that's
Doesn't
just the kind of
surprise me.
employees we have. You know.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me. They even
Yeah.
had a possible something
On the pond.
on the, out at the LeClaire Park
Yeah.
Lake today, and they were out there, and that
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me with all of them. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. So thank you to all of them for everything they do. You too.
Mr. Mayor, I've got 4 items. First of all, I owe the collective commission an apology. Prior to the election, Mayor Hendricks and Commissioner Edwards and I had discussed the possibility of having, in addition to the podium opportunities for citizens, a town hall meeting or a series of town hall meetings. And really, that was something that would have been appropriate for a combined commission discussion, because in the past, I realize it's been tried with various levels of success. And I inappropriately, I put that out in the public, and should not have done that, so my bad. Apologies for it is an item, though, that I think is appropriate for future discussion, format, when, where. We don't want people just using it as a format to get up and scream and yell at us for 3 hours, so, which has happened in the past. So I just wanted to make that apology collectively to the commission. Second item. Prior to the election, I had asked from the podium the collective commissioners at that time and the city staff if we would be getting a report on the trip to Washington, D.C. Now, we all know what it was about. It was about drumming up support to get the levy raised. We know what it was about, but we are yet to receive any kind of a formal report on those discussions. And if you could just, and Tim, if you could just include that in the next, in the packet for the next meeting, that would be sufficient.
Will do, Jim. And I've had multiple meetings with Thomas and Rick Whitson, and Rick, we've set up a committee to kind of follow through on what started in D.C., and so I'll definitely give you an update.
All right, thank you. Third item, I know the three of us here who recently elected have previous experience on the commission, but that was like 10 years ago, and we've slept since then. So changes happen, and what I'm looking for is some kind of a schedule for departmental tours, whatever might you deem might be appropriate to get us back up to speed on just exactly department by department where we stand, who the key players are, and what goes on within those various buildings. And I, for one, would appreciate that. And then the last item, again, an item for future discussion, and I don't even want it on the agenda at this point, but the topic, and I keep getting beat up by it on a regular basis, and it's the tennis courts. And there's been discussion for years, pointing fingers, city, college, USD 445, who's responsible, who can do what. So I would just like for us to collectively get on the same page and figure out what we need to do, if anything.
So I've got a file on my desk that would be, I would say, in my top 4 or 5 priorities. And I've been out to LeClaire Park. We've gotten an RFP, getting others, but it's just, we're not to a point where we can bring it to the commission yet. But I've met with multiple partners. I think all the interested parties in the city are interested in solving in a solution. It's not a cheap solution, but
well, we realize that if you tried to replace everything out there, you're talking $600,000. That's what I've heard.
Probably, we're in the 4 to 6 range. Is probably
4
where
to
we're going
6
to land.
range. And a conversation I had with an interested party yesterday was that they've been talking among themselves, and they don't even think 6 is necessary. They'd be happy with 4.
Yeah.
4 courts.
Right. Yeah, I think we need tennis courts and pickleball courts. I mean, pickleball's fast growing sport in America. I think it's, this is a great spot for retirees, and I think we need both. So I think if we're going to do it, we ought to do it right, and I think there's plenty of funding opportunity between multiple partners and grants, and so, when we it won't be too long before we'll have something put together where we can come to the commission and make a presentation.
Because for years, people have said every time the issues come up, every organization involved has said, no, we don't have the money. We can't.
I'm not finding that. I'm finding willing participants.
Yeah, and I say, no, yes, we do have the money, it's a matter of priorities.
Yeah.
Where do you want to spend your money?
Yeah, my goal is to have it done in 2024, so
All right.
not 2025. All right,
Item on your desk.
yeah.
Thank you. I'm done.
Well, and for that issue, you know, the size of our town should have tennis courts. That's just that simple. And, you know, we used to have them. Tennis used to be a very big thing in the 80s and 90s. In fact, the college even used to have at least a men's team. I don't know if they had a women's team, but they had tennis teams along with the high school. And trying to get back to that. And I know there's the other communities our size around here do have tennis courts, and we just need to get back to there. It is a quality of life thing for the community, and I could see in a case where somebody's looking to move here, and that one thing might stop them from moving here, and
Yeah,
they
I
would
know
move.
folks that work here and live in Independence because of that. you know.
Yeah,
So
that's
it's-
what I'm talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah, I mean, we got to do it. It's not one of those you'd like to have, it's one you have to have. So we are going to get that done.
Move to recess to executive session for two purposes. First, to engage in preliminary discussion regarding the acquisition of real property as permitted by KSA 75-4319B6 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city commission, city manager, city attorney, director of housing, director of public works, and director of building services for a period of 10 minutes. And second, to consult with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client privilege, or attorney-client relationship as permitted by KSA 75-4319B2 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the same persons for a period of 10 minutes, to reconvene in the commission room at 8:20 or 8:30. Let's do 8:30. That gives us a 10-minute break before we
8:30?
start.
Okay.
Is that fine?
7 o'clock right now, or 8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So meet in what time?
We'll take a 10-minute break and then meet from 8:10 to 8:30.
Works for me.
Do I have a second?
A second?
Motion is made by Commissioner Edwards, seconded by Vice Mayor Faulkner, to recess to executive session for two purposes. First, to engage in a preliminary discussion regarding the acquisition of real property as permitted by KSA 75-4319B6 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the city commission, city manager, city attorney, director of housing, director of public works, and director of building services for a period of 10 minutes. And second, to consult with the city attorney regarding matters that would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship as permitted by KSA 75-4319B2 of the Open Meetings Act, to include the same persons for a period of 10 minutes, to reconvene in the commission room at 8:30 p.m. Commissioner Van Oster.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Faulkner.
Aye.
Commissioner Maples.
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Mayor Hendricks.
Aye.
you guys rehearse, because there's rules.
Yeah,
Rules of order.
That's right.
sort of, kind of.
Have you memorized that? Oh, I know. I haven't done it since 4-H. Oh. Yeah.
I remember in 4-H having model meetings every year and,
You got to go by Robert's Rules of Order.
yeah.
All right.
We're reconvening this meeting. We're out of executive session, and doesn't look like there's anything in general staff committee or board reports and minutes, but I want to give,
No action was taken.
You have to
No
say no
action
action.
was
oh, no action was taken.
Thank you.
Any more staff committee or board reports, impromptu? Anything else need to be said?
Or prompt to.
All right, I motion to adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Motion is made by Mayor Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Maples to adjourn.